This is Johnny Dosco. Stay tuned for another Score Sheet podcast. Holy Kadelka!
Welcome back. It's time for our weekly fantasy football preview with tips on players to put into your starting lineup, as well as some that might warrant a benching in Week 13. The Thursday night game features a couple of underachieving teams as the Philadelphia Eagles visit Seattle in primetime. On to some guys you might want to have in your starting lineup this week. Quarterback Caleb Haney had some turnover issues at Oakland in his first game as a replacement starter for the injured Jay Cutler last week. But Haney should benefit from the home field this week, and his ability to scramble should help his fantasy stats, even if the weather is less than ideal as the Bears host the Kansas City Chiefs. The Denver Broncos have been on a surprising run since Tim Tebow took over at quarterback. Not only has the defense stepped up during the improbable 5-1 run, but running back Willis McGahee has proven to be the go-to guy, especially late in the game. Look for McGahee to shoulder the bulk of the running game again this week as the Broncos visit the Minnesota Vikings. The New England Patriots have picked up the pace recently as quarterback Tom Brady has found the end zone with much more consistency. But this week's matchup looks like it could be a laugher in a hurry when the winless Colts visit Foxborough. That should mean plenty of carries for running back Ben Jarvis Green Ellis and a good fantasy week from him. The Tampa Bay Bucs have been a big disappointment this year, but perhaps too much was expected of this young team going into the season. In Week 13, however, it's a pretty even matchup against Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Expect quarterback Josh Freeman to put up solid numbers in what should be a high-scoring game. Last on the starters list is Baltimore wide receiver Torrey Smith. He has had the extra time off since his tough matchup on Thanksgiving night against the San Francisco 49ers, and now goes up against the Browns defense that will be much easier to attack, especially with the speed that Smith possesses. On to the bench squad. Pretty much any receiver on Houston this week is going to have a tough go. The Texans are down to their third-string quarterback after Matt Leinart injured his collarbone in Week 12, so figure their impressive running game will be just about the entire offense this week. Quarterback Sam Bradford and the Rams just never have been able to get going this year and now face the very difficult task of playing the 49ers defense in San Francisco and with plenty of rest since they did play on Thanksgiving night. Expect another full day of struggles for Bradford and the Rams. And no matter who gets the starting nod for the Arizona Cardinals at quarterback, don't expect much this week when they host the Dallas Cowboys. Kevin Kolb may be returning from an injury, but wasn't exactly lighting up the fantasy scoreboard before he went down. Neither Kolb nor John Skelton is likely to put up much this week. Cedric Benson faces a Pittsburgh defense that held him below 60 yards just a few weeks back. This time the game is in Pittsburgh and should be another hard-fought game without a whole lot of offense, especially on the ground for the Bengals. Might be worth giving Benson the week off if you can. And finally, if you have a serviceable backup, you might want to put quarterback Matt Ryan on the bench this week. The Texans' defense has been particularly tough on QBs this season and allowed 170 yards per game over the last 3. Plus, the Falcons are on the road where they generally don't play as well as in their home dome. And that's it for Week 13. Good luck, and we'll be back next week with another fantasy football preview.